Hello, everyone. Wyatt Claypool here. Are we at the end of an era, everyone? Because apparently sources are now telling CTV News that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is either considering proroguing government or resigning. Here is Made in Canada saying what the CTV News report is, and this is just verbatim taken from the CTV News website. It says, breaking, sources tell CTV News Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is considering resigning or proroguing Parliament, and he may address Parliament this afternoon. So obviously, those are two extremely different options. And I'm wondering if Justin Trudeau is engaging in some brinksmanship, trying to force Liberal MPs dissatisfied with him to put their money where their mouths are and demand that he either resign today or Justin Trudeau is going to shut down Parliament for a couple months so that he can have some sort of reset in the new year. Let's be honest, there is no time for a reset anymore in this government. If he had 2 years, maybe he could prorogue, but if he didn't come back and immediately start reversing course on all of his policies, he would still be dead in the water. So really, the net effect is nothing. But now he's saying suddenly he will resign, even though earlier in the day he was telling people, or his office was saying, absolutely no way he's going to resign. Here is a Liberal MP. Let's just go through some of the Liberal MPs asking for Trudeau to resign or saying that they still stick by him in the Liberal government because, you know, it's just absolute chaos in Parliament here. And let's try and sort through a little bit of it. Before I get into that, make sure that if you watch this channel and you like it, make sure you're a subscriber. Go hit that subscribe button. We have a goal of next year trying to have 100,000 subscribers. Like this video, comment, do all that sort of thing. So we have this clip being shared by Cat Canada here with a Liberal MP being asked what he thinks about all the chaos going on, and he says he stands firmly behind the Liberal brand.
What at the end? Does it feel like the end to you?
I've been a lifelong Liberal. I was 12 years old when I joined the Liberal Party of Canada, and I have never doubted a day that the Liberal Party is the strongest party in this country, and that we will always have the leader we need at the right time, and we'll continue to be the Liberal Party.
Let's be clear also there. He is not exactly backing Trudeau strongly with that statement. So he's talking about it being the strongest party, and he's focusing very much on the party, but doesn't actually even whisper Trudeau's name in this entire statement because he doesn't know if in 45 minutes Trudeau's no longer the PM, and he looks like an idiot for saying that, oh no, of course Justin Trudeau is the right leader for us in 2025.
Right leader right now?
I have said to the Prime Minister, if he wants my advice on his leadership or comments, I'll give them directly only to him. That's I have been really clear about that. So it's a day where we will. I think there's got to be some reflection going on. And I was Chrystia Freeland's parliamentary secretary, and I have huge respect for her. And I will continue to have huge respect for her. And I'm really glad her confidence is in the Liberal Party, and she is going to run as a member of Parliament. And
Isn't that funny though? Nobody actually will name Justin Trudeau, but every time Chrystia Freeland is brought up, people start gushing. Oh, she's so nice. I worked for her and she was a great friend of me. Great to see that she's still running for us and has confidence of the party. I'm wondering if Freeland is now, out of revenge against Trudeau, going to try and gun to become the next prime minister and then block Mark Carney from being part of the government. Because obviously Mark Carney was effectively Justin Trudeau's hatchet man he was bringing in to replace Justin Trudeau. But HOC staffer here on Twitter has a running list of those MPs currently calling for Justin Trudeau to resign, which are Francis Drouin and Chad Collins. The Chad Collins one is very interesting, and this is also on top of Wayne Long and another Liberal MP who in previous months have said that Trudeau should resign. Obviously, I don't think they're now firmly in the Justin Trudeau camp. But the Chad Collins one is interesting because there are more MPs attached to Chad Collins who are kind of following his lead but not named yet. So here is Pierre Poilievre reacting to this whole resignation by Chrystia Freeland, and you can tell he's having a good day and able to use every single favorite jab on Trudeau and just go completely scorched earth here.
Everything is spiraling out of control. Out of control spending and bureaucracy has doubled housing costs, with 1,400 homeless encampments taking over Ontario alone. Out of control immigration has led to refugee camps opening in suburban Canada. And then we have 500,000 people in the country illegally, according to government estimates. Out of control crime overtakes our once tranquil streets, with gun crime having doubled. Out of control drugs and disorder add to the chaos, with 47,000 of our people dead of overdoses since Trudeau legalized drug laws, stopped enforcing them, and allowed limitless sums of fentanyl ingredients into our country. Out of control inflation has followed out of control money printing, which has sent out of control demand to our food banks, which are running.
This is a good backdrop. Just to cut in here for a second. This is a good backdrop as to why apparently, I believe it was Philippe Champagne was asked if he wants to become the new finance minister after Chrystia Freeland, and he said no, apparently. Obviously, this is all going on in the background, but the whole point is, when you listen to all the issues we're currently having, and at least half of the ones he's talking about here are economic, who wants to be the last man to take the helm of a position that's about to be burned up in less than a year, and you're going to get thrown out as like the failed finance minister at the end of a government? When are you ever going to run for anything significant after that? You were like the loyalist to the delusional leader of the delusional prime minister. So nobody would ever trust that you're like a steady person in the future.
Running out of food altogether. Out of control spending has doubled our national debt, boosted interest rates, and threatened our social programs. And it's not just Freeland who thinks this prime minister is out of control. Now, Housing Minister Sean Fraser has resigned in the middle of a housing crisis. The minister is resigning. The finance minister is resigning in the middle of an economic crisis, and a fifth of his Liberal caucus has lost confidence in him. Justin Trudeau has lost control, and yet he clings to power. We cannot accept this kind of chaos, division, weakness while we're staring down the barrel of a 25% tariff from our biggest trading partner and closest ally.
The one thing I will say about the 25% trading like the tariff on our trade, is it's very unlikely to happen. Even as terrible as Justin Trudeau is as a prime minister, I don't think he's stupid enough to go sluggish on increasing border security. And he probably doesn't even have to do a lot for Trump to be satisfied and not put up the 25% tariff, because a 25% tariff would hurt the U.S. too. Also, Sean Fraser, the former housing minister who just resigned last night and said he's not running for re-election, I guarantee you that what he's going to do, because these are the rumors, is that now that Anthony Furey in Nova Scotia has gotten himself a second big PC majority government term in Nova Scotia, that the Liberals obviously need a new leader. Sean Fraser's from Nova Scotia, and it's maybe a soft landing place for him to jump on as Nova Scotia Liberal leader. He has enough profile probably locally to win that, and he can sort of, like very slyly exit out of federal Liberal politics that way, while pretending it's really just there's just such a good opportunity over here, I had to pursue it, when it's more of the fact that everything's burning up in the current Liberal government. But here is reporter Mercedes Stevenson talking about what the prime minister is thinking. She says, "The chaos of cabinet today, a senior government source tells me the prime minister is not considering resigning. Another source tells me it is being discussed in cabinet." And at this point, what does cabinet even look like to Trudeau? Because the rumor is that two more ministers were also supposed to resign today after Fraser and Chrystia Freeland. So how is he even having cabinet meetings minus already two cabinet ministers, and two cabinet ministers who presumably have no loyalty if they even agree to meet, and they would just maybe leak everything that Justin Trudeau says in the meeting? And so I want to jump over to this clip that Rowan posted on Twitter. This is a great moment where he also, Poilievre goes after Jagmeet Singh for his weakness in this entire situation. Imagine if the government gets taken down, the government collapses, and we have a January election or something like that, and it has nothing to do with Jagmeet Singh. Jagmeet Singh is too pathetic to have actually been the one to undermine Justin Trudeau, and it in fact had to come from within the Liberal Party, the movement to get rid of Trudeau.
Mr. Trudeau is being held in office by one man, Jagmeet Singh. A fifth of Liberal MPs have written a letter for him to resign. His deputy prime minister has walked out on him. His housing minister has quit. That on top of numerous other female ministers who stormed out after his appalling mistreatment and abuse and dishonesty towards them.
A great line to use after Justin Trudeau was at the Equal Voice feminist group just a few days ago, touting how much he respects women and he values women's progress. And wow, I appointed the first minister, the finance minister, who's a female. It's so nauseating. And also, know what? Shame on Equal Voice. Shame on them. Because they are proving they don't actually care about the quality of leadership as long as it's feminist. Why would you even bother inviting Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, who are deeply despised politicians, to your event to talk about women's progress? What? They are a regressive force on everybody. Stop bringing them in just because they like to artificially promote women into roles rather than just picking people based on merit. I don't like organizations like Equal Voice because it cheapens actual achievement. Anyways, well, I'll let Pierce finish here.
80% of Canadians have lost confidence in this prime minister. So why is Jagmeet Singh making the entire country wait for him to get his pension? That is the question today.
It's even worse than that. It's not just 80% of Canadians have lost confidence in Justin Trudeau. Only 14% of people polled in Abacus data polls consistently say that they would like to see the Liberal government reelected, a Trudeau Liberal government reelected. So it's 86% of people who don't want that to happen. And while, yeah, there's some people who are undecided in that group, undecided usually means you probably are not going to be in favor of what the current default option is, which is the Liberal government. But now I want to talk a little bit more about the Chad Collins issue, because as you would have seen before, there was only 2 people listed as MPs today who called for Trudeau to resign. And then we know about other MPs like Wayne Long from New Brunswick who have also said that Justin Trudeau should resign. But how is it that Poilievre said there was a 5th of them saying that they want Trudeau to resign? Well, it's because Chad Collins said in his call for Justin Trudeau to resign, he says, in October, and this is back when that mini palace coup had occurred but didn't really go anywhere. He says, in October, I signed a letter with 23 MPs from across Canada asking the Prime Minister to step down and begin a formal process to replace him. Today, I publicly reiterate my request that the Prime Minister step down and initiate a leadership process to take our country in a new direction. The funny thing is, this is all very pathetic because there's actually no powers in the Liberal Party to replace a leader. Caucus can't just vote to get rid of him. Even Cabinet, I don't believe, can vote to get rid of him. They just kind of have to convince him to step down. But I can guarantee you, it's not just 23 MPs anymore, because really, is it only going to be about 23 MPs who've signed this letter alongside Chad Collins that are, now not on side with Trudeau? It's not like any of them are now on side since this happened in October. The crisis was far smaller. I would say in terms of magnitude, the crisis of October was only a third as bad as things are currently now in December. And I guarantee that 23 MPs probably has ballooned to probably about half of caucus once Trudeau gone at least. And the other half are probably knowing that they're, frankly, such non-entities as MPs. The only reason they need Trudeau around is he is their blood bag of relevance. The only way Mark Garretson is going to get into Parliament, into Cabinet, and have a really big role is if Trudeau gives it to him. Because nobody other than Trudeau would be stupid enough to give Mark Garretson responsibility. Here's Anita Anand walking into Parliament today, being filmed by CPAC, and her reacting to Chrystia Freeland's resignation. Again, I find all their reactions, their emotional reactions to Chrystia Freeland resigning without naming Trudeau is very, very telling.
Chrystia Freeland is a good friend, someone I work with very, very closely as president of the Treasury Board and Minister of Transport. This news has hit me really hard, and I'll reserve further comment until I have time to process it.
Time to process it. You can't process it. It's a pretty straight, easy cut thing to talk about. Here is the Francois Drouin reacting to all the news and saying the Prime Minister needs to resign.
Obviously, many of my colleagues have put up And I've been a great defender, but I just don't see how we move forward without having a future minister resign. Today was supposed to be a presentation of a plan, and now we're talking about a finance minister who has resigned. I don't see how this helps the prime minister, and I don't see a way out and how this helps us talk about Canadians while we're continuing to talk about what's happening right now.
So
Yeah, there was supposed to be a fall economic statement put out today, and they have all of the like packages, the books that like contain all the fall economic statement information covered in black blankets right now at the place that they were supposed to make the announcement, and they've had to push back the announcement time from 10 p.m. Eastern all the way to 1:45 Eastern. So it's probably, I think they might have handed them out now, or I think it was like 1:45 tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a complete disaster.
he needs to go. Sorry, I'd like to hear you say.
I think he needs to go. Yeah.
Justin Trudeau.
Yep. Yeah. I think today's resignation is a sign of that.
Yeah, so I don't think, how does Justin Trudeau stick around at this point? Like, yeah, you could just say he's shameless enough to do it. And like, I agree with that. At the same time, like at some point you think that this would be the perfect time for Justin Trudeau to do what his father did and take his long walk in the snow. And then maybe he comes back one day. I'm a conservative. I don't want him in office at all. I never wanted him in office back in 2015. Never voted for the guy. I don't like the Liberal Party. But from like an analysis of what you would do if you want to be Justin Trudeau and have a career, dude, really, are you just going to blow the rest of your time in office doing this last 10-month charge into a failed election and probably having the worst Liberal Party loss ever? Or do you leave now, make up some stuff about how people are undermining you, you let someone else be prime minister, and then you come back in 10 years or something like that with a nice tan? I don't know. He's just out of rope at this point. If he prorogues Parliament, that would be incredible. That we all sit here in limbo for a month and a half pretending like we didn't just see a coup taking place and that he's just basically abducted. I don't even know what you do. Like, he's just gonna prorogue and hope that the GST holiday makes really lightens everyone's moods, and once the $250 checks hit the people's bank accounts in April, then everyone's gonna be happy. At the same time, the carbon tax increases. It's almost gonna double. And so who's going to like any of this? Who likes any of this stuff? Even Chrystia Freeland's letter when she resigned basically said she probably wanted to move in a more conservative direction. Isn't that funny how all the liberals, as their economic policies fail, they've fully implemented pretty much everything they want to do. They do whatever they want, whenever they want. And notice how the more they do that, the more appealing it seems to do something more conservative. Because the very lefty policies they've been pursuing, these socialistic policies, do not work. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. I do not doubt I might be back even later today with another update of what's going on. It's crazy out there. Stay safe.